And now for something completely different.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cinematic Relief. I'm Thunder,
And I'm Lightning.
and today we have no theme. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But first, I want to get this out of the way. I promise I won't talk about it long, but I do want to talk about a couple cool things that happened. I want to talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths, because it wrapped up. The last 2 episodes happened. And if you listen to this podcast and not the other one, a couple months ago, I talked about the first half of it on the other one. But basically, what happens in the first half is that all the Earths die and everyone's dead, and they're all dead. So this time, basically, what they do is they fight the bad guy, right? In the first episode, Oliver, the Green Arrow, officially dead, for real, not coming back.
Oh, okay.
For the last 2 episodes of his show. Don't know what they're gonna do, but he's dead. He died, saving everyone. And then they fix it, except they fix it the wrong way. So now I really like what they did. All of the shows, all of the CW shows, Arrow and Batwoman and all them, they're all on one Earth now. It's called Earth Prime.
Oh, wow.
Everything else has its own Earth. So like Teen Titans, Smallville, Superman Returns, Batman, Tim Burton movie. Everything else has its own Earth, but all the CW shows have one Earth.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. There was maybe the coolest, for a different reason, but maybe the coolest cameo that they could have done possible. Ezra Miller was in the show. Ezra Miller plays the Flash in the Justice League movie. And he wasn't just like, hey, it's me. We're not going to say who I am, though. He was literally, I'm Barry Allen. I'm here in the suit from the movie.
Wow.
And I, don't get it because I know I heard the director say the words, we're not allowed to say Joker. We're not even allowed to say Joker because of the movie. But
there's the Flash.
It was really cool. He literally referenced the Justice League movie, like the only movie that the Flash was in. I think he had a cameo in Suicide Squad. But I was just blown away. I was like, how are they able to do that? You know how they did the thing on the first episode where they're like, all these places are getting killed. And it's like, oh, there's Teen Titans. There's Tim Burton's Batman. There's this. They did it again, but the opposite during the ending monologue where it was like, look at all these Earths and they're all happy and celebrating. They showed Doom Patrol, which is on the DC streaming app. They showed Swamp Thing, which is on the DC streaming app and also canceled. It's not going to get a second season. They showed Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern.
Oh.
They didn't show Ryan Reynolds, but they showed the Green Lantern flying through the sky, and they showed the blue people he talks to. It was straight up that.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't copyright-wise, rights-wise.
Yeah.
I don't get how that's okay, but I'm cool with it.
Right.
And then they finally, after 8 seasons of Arrow, 6 seasons of everything else, they finally formed the Justice League.
Oh, okay.
The building looks just like it did in the cartoon, and they have a big table, and Flash, Supergirl, Superman, Batwoman, Black Lightning, and the Black Canary are all sitting at the table. There's a seat for Oliver. There's a memorial for Oliver because he's dead, with his a fire pit and his costume and stuff. And it was really cool. There was basically the whole second act of the last episode was basically them being like, this is what it would look like if all these shows were one show. And then at the end they were like, they're not all one show, but they are all on the same Earth. So probably cameos are going to be more more frequent and less weird. Because every time Supergirl needed to go to a different show, they'd have to have an excuse of oh, well, she's on a different Earth. She had to make her way all the way over here. But they don't have to do that anymore. Even with Black Lightning, the one that at first they were like, it's not part of it. It's all part of it now, which is really cool.
It almost sounds like they did a better job setting up these TV shows than they did the movies. It's almost there was a Justice League movie, but the Justice League got a better job done in this special.
One would say there was a couple cool things. John Diggle, one of the supporting characters from Arrow, he had a daughter. and he named the daughter Sarah after Sarah Lance, who at the time was dead.
Right.
And then when Flash did Flashpoint, which is, he went back in time, changed something, and then ruined everything. Now we're in a new time period. It was a boy that he had. He just straight up changed time, so now it's a boy called John Jr., JJ for short. Now on Earth Prime, the new Earth that they created, they have twins, and it's both of them.
Oh, wow.
So they just they fixed a lot of things that they didn't have to, and the warehouse, quote unquote, where the Justice League are gonna be now was the warehouse they used in the first crossover. It just all came together really nicely.
Cool.
And I'm excited for what's next. But it was really good, and now I'm done talking about it.
Okay.
What should I talk about first?
Dealer's choice.
Okay, so let's talk about Detective Pikachu.
Okay. It's been a while since I've seen it, but you just saw it recently.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Here's the deal, and I'm gonna say this. This is the same thing I said about Rise of Skywalker. I feel like Rise of Skywalker was a bad movie, but I really liked it. I feel the opposite about Detective Pikachu. I feel like Detective Pikachu was a good movie. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
My main problem, the actors were bad. The two human actors, the boy and the man and the woman.
Yeah.
I did not like them. Thought they were kind of giving a B- performance.
Fair enough.
Ryan Reynolds, as you know, not doing a voice, just talking like Ryan Reynolds, which,
Yeah.
if you watch the movie, makes sense at the end.
Right.
That's
what I was gonna say. I told you that when I went to see it. I was
Yeah.
what I said. I worded it. I remember what I said. I worded it very peculiarly. I said, "There's a reason they didn't pick Danny DeVito."
Yeah. No, and it makes sense, but I'm just gonna go back to I didn't like it.
Yeah.
My main issue is the third act, and I looked it up. Basically, everything in this plot was from the game except the third act. The third act was a nightmare hellscape that I couldn't escape from. If you recall, it was people were turning into goop monsters,
Right.
and Bill Nye was using Mewtwo's psychic link powers to put people into their Pokemon.
Right.
It was just not fun to watch or look at. Also, when I saw the trailer for Detective Pikachu, I was very intrigued at what was making the ground move like that. And as soon as they got to the evil hideout and they were like, "Oh, look, Torterra growth center," I was like, "Oh, that's what the ground moving later on is." And that was probably the coolest part of the movie, but the trailer kind of ruined it.
Yeah.
So that being said, I think it was probably good. I just didn't care for it. Would watch it again, maybe, but didn't love it. Also, it was short, which was good because I'm more apt to rewatch a movie that is short.
Let me tell you my issues.
Yeah, sure, go for it. Also, sorry, when the movie started, I honestly thought I started it on the after the credits scene because it starts with Mewtwo in the tube with the thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, Detective Pikachu. But yeah,
I'm watching this movie, right?
you saw it in theaters, yeah?
I saw it in theaters. I didn't have as big of issue with the way the Pokemon looked that some people did, and we can get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm watching this movie, and they've introduced the card games, they've introduced all these aspects in the movie, and I thought that was kind of cool. I'm upset the first movie, if they make a universe of these Pokemon movies, I'd love that. That'd be awesome. Why do we start with Detective Pikachu? I want a movie that's a tournament. I want to see. I would have loved this character, I feel like, and I would have loved this movie if it was based because the movie teases his desire to be a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't the movie I'm gonna get. But
Right.
wouldn't it be awesome if this movie was just about this kid going for his dreams?
Yeah, no, that's and I don't want to brag or whatever. That's what I was saying before the movie came out. I was like,
Yeah.
this is a weird place to start. Legendary acquired the rights to make Pokemon movies, and they were like, guess what's first? And I was like, Mewtwo Strikes Back, and they were like, yeah, it's Detective Pikachu.
But also kind of
But see, that's another issue I have.
Yeah.
Anybody who ever makes a Pokemon special or movie or fucking fan fiction or video game, they're always like, their first and final draft is always Mewtwo. Well, it's got to be about Mewtwo, the coolest Pokemon ever, I guess. And I don't disagree. I really like Mewtwo, but like, I don't think he needed to be in the Detective Pikachu movie.
No, not at all.
I'm pretty sure he's in the game, but like he was like third most important character in this movie.
Yeah.
And based off the trailer, I thought he was just going to be a cameo, little tease for whatever comes next.
Right.
But he was like the main villain, sort of. It was, and it's sort of like embarrassing that it's just like with the first live action American made Pokemon movie, they had to fall on the crutch of, well, Mewtwo's pretty cool, right?
If this whole movie was just a Kanto region tournament, I would have loved it. And I'm just using Kanto region because if you're going to start the movies, why not start with the first set of Pokemon? If it was just simply a Pokemon tournament, like a Rocky-style movie but based around a Pokemon tournament, I feel like this movie would have been amazing. It would have been everything I ever wanted out of a live-action Pokemon movie. The thing with Pokemon, and kind of the same with Rocky, I'm just using him as an example because that's the only other tournament-style or arena-style movie I can think of, is there doesn't need to be a lot of narrative.
Right.
Pokemon have a main thing they do. It's fighting. Make a movie around that.
Right.
And you have your narrative be based around that. We don't need to go off on... We don't need the subsection mystery, the mystery mobile crew of the Pokemon universe to start off. Just go for the main thing. And you can... once again, Rocky's. You can make 8 movies of just that. Of just that.
Yeah.
With the same character. It doesn't have to change.
Yeah. I did appreciate that they made sure to have at least a couple Pokemon from each gen.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Well, that's the thing. It could have been every gen. I was just saying, like, I don't know. It would have been cool nostalgic if they started with Kanto region tournament. That's our first movie. If they wanted to break it up into regions. But I also liked that it was just Pokemon living their lives the way they would.
Yeah.
Not really region-based.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It wasn't my favorite movie.
That's fair. I'm hoping they get better. I'm hoping they, do something interesting with the next one.
See, that's the thing. I feel like the people who made this movie went kind of hard on, like, we've got to have Ryan Reynolds, and it's got to star a Pikachu, and there's going to be Mewtwo, and there's going to be nostalgia and all this. And I feel like the next one they're going to be like, well, if the last one had Ryan Reynolds, this one should better have
George Clooney,
Idris Elba.
Yeah.
And it's going to have triple the nostalgia and 4 Mewtwo's. Mew 3. It's going to have Mew 3.
They forced the Pokemon Company into making a new Pokemon.
No. The Americans could never... Like, nothing that we do to Pokemon is going to affect... They'd be like, Mew 3 is not canon, ignore it. Let's save the super shitty one for last. Let's talk about Aladdin.
Okay, I was curious. I was like, which one?
Let's
which one
talk
are we
about
talking about?
The new Aladdin. So you've seen it before.
Yes.
Similar to the Detective Pikachu, you've seen it before.
A long time ago.
Yeah, when it came out.
Yeah.
I just watched it. Blanket statement, I really liked it.
Okay.
The worst part is Will Smith.
Interesting.
I'm not going to sit here and say he wasn't. Half of that is the CGI was not great.
CGI was a little weird.
Half of that was Will Smith is not a good actor anymore, and he hasn't been in like 10 years.
See, now, I didn't think he did a bad job. I feel like we were always going to come to this conclusion. My biggest issue with him in this movie is he wasn't Robin Williams.
Well, Robin Williams is dead. I'm sorry to inform you.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
No, but I know what you're getting at. There was a couple moments where... Okay, so I compare it to Beauty and the Beast, right? The live-action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, that's fine for the conversation. Beauty and the Beast had a lot of scenes that were, like, scene, like moment for moment taken from the original movie, and then it had a bunch of scenes where it was derivative, but they did their own like take on it. And then there was some scenes, and more specifically some songs, that were just straight up not in the original Beauty and the Beast, and it worked out really well there. They did the exact same thing here, and it did not. I feel like it did not work well. There was a part where, like, sometimes Will Smith would say a Robin Williams line, but he wouldn't say it like Robin Williams said it. He would just say it like the phenomenal cosmic power, itty bitty living space. He basically said it with as much emotion as I just said it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's an iconic line because of the line read, not the writing, you know?
Right.
So I do understand what you meant by it's not Robin Williams. It's just like he has big shoes to fill, but at the same time he did his own thing, which is fine, but I don't think it really worked.
Okay.
I did appreciate that he was at the beginning of the movie playing a character that was not the genie, just like the original movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Let's talk about how horrible of a singer the guy they got to play Aladdin is, because my word.
I can't remember too well.
Here's the deal. The guy who got to play Aladdin, his name is, I'm going to mispronounce it, but his name is Mena Massoud. Okay? He was playing Aladdin opposite Naomi Scott playing Princess Jasmine. She was incredible. And because she was so damn good at singing, so much so that they gave her 2 solo Jasmine songs. Like, when I was listening to A Whole New World, and he starts it, he goes for a couple verses, and then she comes in, I was like, oh, thank God she's singing now. It was just not, like... It was not... Like, my favorite part of the original Aladdin is One Jump, the song where he's, like, talking about stealing and stuff, the intro to the movie, essentially. And it just does not hit home in this version. You could tell the amount of auto-tune they put on Mena Massoud and Will Smith, and the lack of auto-tune that was on Naomi Scott. There was a really weird part. Obviously, this is an audio medium and not a visual, but like there was a really weird part during the third verse of One Jump Ahead, I think the song is called, where all the footage was sped up like 10%, and it.
Oh.
I know the why, but not the how come. Like, because obviously they're not singing this live on set.
Right.
So they probably did it differently in the recording than they did. But, like, it was really weird. And it was like, I'm watching it, I was like, oh, this whole scene is sped up. And then they cut to another scene. I was like, this one's also sped up. And it was sped up just a little bit that maybe someone wouldn't notice. But I was like, immediately. I was watching with Kelsey, and immediately we were like, what the hell? This footage is sped up. That's so weird. The monkey was terrifying, and there's no excuse for it because CGI animals look great now, and that monkey looked terrifying. And the cat in Captain Marvel is CGI practically the whole time.
Yeah,
and that's the end of that. The tiger looked fine, but and you don't really get a good look at the parrot, but the monkey looked bunk, dude. I did not like looking at that monkey, and he got a couple close-ups.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Jafar. Jafar was pretty okay. I wish he turned into a giant snake. They skipped the snake, which kind of bothered me, because they had, screen time to do it. Everyone on the everyone who wasn't a main character, it really felt like they were phoning it in. Like, especially in the one jump scene where, like, all the townspeople have, like, their one line. Just felt like everyone who wasn't Aladdin in that scene was really phoning it in.
Okay.
But, like, all these complaints aside, I liked it.
Good.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was pretty good. I like the change they made to the drowning scene, because in the original he just like squishes his mouth and mimics him, but in this one he like takes his hand and makes him sign away a wish on a contract, and I was like, that makes more sense, I think. I did not appreciate or enjoy the beatboxing section in Friend Like Me. I thought that was a little much. You could definitely tell that Will Smith had his fingers in the making of the music for this movie. Most of it was fine. Friend Like Me fell a little flat. But I think that's my only complaint with the music. I think most of the songs I was like, yeah, okay. I don't know why there was some things that I was like, why did you change that? There's a line in Prince Ali where he says, brush up your Sunday salam, and he changed it to Friday in the live action version. And I was like, of all things to change, you changed the day of the week and not all the weird, like, words that we're using and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, maybe it was a religious reason, because Sunday usually refers to the Catholic day of praising, and maybe
no,
they
that's
were
the
like,
only thing I could think of.
yeah, maybe they were like, well, that's inaccurate. What's their day? And they were like, Friday. Okay, well, let's make it the Friday.
Then that would make a lot of sense.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure Robin Williams, sort of read his lines and just did whatever he wanted, and Disney was like,
Oh,
"Yes,
yeah.
of course."
Yeah.
And then they drew a movie around him. Because you can
No,
even, when you're
there's,
listening to Robin Williams, you play the genie, you can even kind of see him ahead of the animation sometimes, just with his delivery. You know?
Yeah. No, there's video on Facebook where they just kind of had him go in and do a bunch of bits, and they picked their favorite ones to put in the movie. So there were definitely sections where they were like, just do what you want, but here's what the information we're trying to get across.
No, I mean, that it paid off for them.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was oh, excuse me. I thought it was good.
You know what?
Did you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it
Right.
was decent. Here's the thing: Aladdin wasn't like my favorite Disney movie. You know what was? Lion King.
And
I watched the live action. That's my favorite
Oh.
live action remake so far.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Lion King.
Dude, lay it on me, because I haven't seen it yet, and I've heard nothing but terrible things about live action Aladdin. I mean, Lion King.
No kidding. I thought it was good. I thought it was just a shot for shot. Like, here's the thing: I'm watching it, and I was like, when I'm thinking of, I want to watch a Lion King movie. Maybe I'm watching them with my kids a little down the line. I'll go to pick up either one, and I won't feel. That's the way I was viewing it. Was I'm going to watch this with somebody who's never watched it before. I'm going to pick up the closest one to me, and I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Okay. That makes sense.
A
lot. The complaint I see the most is that it was hard to distinguish the characters because they all looked alike, basically, because they're all just animals.
The only issue where that arose for me was the hyenas.
Oh, okay.
I could tell the lions apart. The female lions were a little tough.
Okay.
Telling which one was Nala was a little tough.
But could you tell the difference between full-grown Simba and Scar?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess the only time I had issue was I didn't have so much issue with Nala because I knew where she was gonna pop up. I knew, like, when she's drinking at the I don't think that's actually how they. No, when she's chasing Pumbaa around, and runs into Simba,
right.
I know that's Nala just because I know the movie.
What did you think of Seth Rogen Pumbaa? Because some people I've been hearing people say that that's the best part.
He did a great job. He didn't do a great job singing.
Oh.
But beyond that, he was fine.
Okay.
There were a few lines where I was like, he could have done one more take, Seth. When I was a young warthog, that's the one line I'm remembering where I was like, it's just not quite there.
I see. Like musically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I've never heard Seth Rogen sing, but that makes sense to me.
He did decent though.
Who was Simba? Was it Donald Glover?
I want to say yes, but I can't remember.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm pretty sure John Oliver was
Zazu.
Yeah. He was indistinguishable. He did a great job.
Oh, really? He sounded just like Rowan Atkinson?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. No, he's good.
And as far as the scenes go in this movie, it was literally it was shot for shot.
That's
it was
pretty
like
cool.
the same movie.
Yeah, Simba is Donald Glover. Nala is Beyonce. That's cool.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Chiwetel Ejiofor is Scar, the villain, the black guy from Doctor Strange. Is the friend who turns evil at the end in Doctor Strange?
He turns evil in the end?
In the after the credits scene?
There was a second after the credit scene? Oh, I screwed my grandparents out of an credit scene.
It's one of the worst ones.
Oh.
This guy, the person
No.
I'm talking about, right?
I just didn't remember him turning evil. I knew who you were talking about, but then you threw me off with the turning evil part. That's cool though. He has a good voice.
They got James Earl Jones to play Mufasa.
Yes.
Weird.
and they made him do it again. It's like the same lines,
Yeah.
but they made him do it again.
That's interesting.
Because I was paying attention to it, and I was like, did they just put in the same lines? And I came to the conclusion, no.
No,
they got him to do it again. Didn't need to.
Yeah. That's the thing, like, yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Make him do more Darth Vader voice bites.
They're
literally collecting voice bites from him. Did you know that?
Just for the future?
Yeah.
Just
because someday he is going to die.
Right.
You know.
I meant to say, the voice of the Cave of Wonders in Aladdin was the original voice.
Oh, really?
Frank Welker, the guy who does Eeyore and Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
He did Cave of Wonders in both. But oddly enough, Frank Welker was the voice of the monkey in the first one, but the monkey has no credited voice actor in this one.
Oh.
So,
just a real monkey.
But sometimes it wasn't, you know? Sometimes he, like, says things sort of, you know?
Oh, yeah.
How Abu is, like, he makes a sound, and you're like... I did like what they did with the parrot. Sorry to go back to Aladdin, but I did like what they did with the parrot. He talked, but not more than a normal parrot would. Thought that was cool. But yeah, Lion King. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I mean, that wasn't... We weren't planning on talking about Lion King.
No, but... Fuck it, right?
Well, you know what? While we're on the subject...
Yeah.
You were talking about sped up footage. I had the volume off. I was going to go to bed last night, and Captain America Civil War was on.
Okay.
And it's the fight in... is it Wakanda? I don't think it's Wakanda. They accidentally blow up building, and they get blamed for it. That fight.
Oh, that's in Vienna, I think.
No, not.
Oh, that's the first part of the movie.
Yeah, that
takes place
beginning.
in Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, sure.
Where they're fighting crossbones and they chase the people through the street.
Yes.
Yeah.
That footage is sped up, and I don't know why.
What footage?
Just the fighting. Just that whole bit.
Oh, the
is
whole
sped
all
up.
of it?
I watched it with no volume, and I was just it was just so fast. I was like, why?
Oh, interesting.
Why didn't I notice that? If it's on Disney Plus or something, if we have easy access to it, I want to watch a few minutes with you. I want to see if it happens again.
Sure, yeah.
Or if I just had bad... It just looked very choppy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never noticed how
you can
bad
tell,
this
right?
looks.
When something's sped up a bit.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't, like... It made a little bit of sense in Aladdin. Like, I could figure out why they did it, but I don't know why they would do it.
To make it look cooler, like they're fighting faster, but it without volume. Like, they tricked me. I never noticed it beforehand.
Yeah, I've seen Civil War a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before.
But without volume, there was just something about it. I was like, this looks odd. This looks like I'm watching it on, like, I pressed fast forward on it.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Interesting. Yeah, like that first tier of fast forward where everyone's
exactly.
talking fast. Yeah.
Right.
All right. It's time for the Band-Aid rip. I saw Hellboy 2019.
Oh, yes.
Chris, have you seen a Hellboy movie or
Yes.
read a Hellboy comic?
I have seen the latter.
You saw the first two?
Yes.
Okay, so this movie was so very terrible, and I don't think it's David Harbour's fault. David Harbour, the person who plays Hopper on Stranger Things, he played Hellboy this time. I feel like he was the best part of the movie, the strongest part of the movie, I'll say, because this movie was terrible. And here's the deal. Most of my issue... Well, okay, first of all, big issue that I'm going to have with any movie if it does this. Way too gory for no reason. Like, there's a part where their association gets attacked and they show up and everyone's dead, but they're not just dead. Their skull is cracked open and their brains are literally all over the floor. And I'm like, why? That's so gross. I just want to see the fun Hellboy movie. So I don't know why they did that. But other than that, most of my problems are with the writing and the storytelling. And every time something really weird happened, I was like, what the fuck? I looked it up, and yes, it is in fact from the comics. So I think at some point the problem is Hellboy and not these movies. But here's what happens, okay? If I can do a plot synopsis real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The movie starts, it introduces the villain. And the villain is played by Mila Jovovich, who is the main character in all the shitty Resident Evil films. And she's also going to ruin the Monster Hunter movie. You think that Capcom would have said, don't. Anyways, she's the villain, and she's like an unkillable witch. And she's fighting Arthur and Merlin from Arthurian mythology, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Right? And
you mean like King Arthur?
King Arthur and
Oh,
the
man.
wizard Merlin. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's fighting them, and they come up with the only solution that they can where she won't die. We're going to have to cut up her body parts and scatter it across the planet. So they do that. And then Hellboy does a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter in Mexico. And you know, there's a scene with his dad, and he's like talking with his dad or whatever. His adopted dad, obviously, because I'm pretty sure he is a demon from hell. And then Hellboy gets called to, I was half paying attention. I'm pretty sure it was the British royal family, has a sect of their security who specializes in giant hunting.
Okay.
Because giants are rampant in the UK, the upper mountain hill valleys of the UK. And they need Hellboy's help. So he shows up, and Hellboy and the audience is like, if you're so fucking good at hunting giants, why do you need me? And they were like, there's 3 this time. That's too many, so we need Hellboy. Then Hellboy meets a woman who, if she wasn't called the Oracle, I'm just going to call her that, because she was basically like, I can see whatever. And she tells the story about how they found Hellboy, which I guess the dad has never shared with him in the last 80 years. Because back in Nazi Germany, they were trying to kill Rasputin, and Rasputin cursed her, his dad, and 2 other people with infinite life. They can't age. They can die if you shoot them or whatever, but they can't age. So they're not going to die. And this is straight up a quote from the movie. And then, out of nowhere, the Lobster showed up. And the Lobster is a American Nazi-killing superhero from the 1940s. He's got a lobster claw on his chest. He's played by Dennis Leary. And he just shows up for a good 10 minutes and just kills a bunch of Nazis, and it's really gross. And then Hellboy is there. And I looked it up, and yes, the Lobster is from the comics. And I was like, that was really weird. And then, later on, in one of the 4 after the credits scenes, Hellboy talks to the Lobster's ghost. That goes unexplained, even though Hellboy's best friend can talk to ghosts. She's not in the scene. It's just him and the Lobster ghost. Speaking of the friend, when the British Empire tries to kill Hellboy, because the whole giant thing was a setup, but there was really 3 giants and they all get killed. He fucks up the giants, whatever, and then he gets saved by this girl. That girl is Alice from Alice in Wonderland. That's also from the comics. And she can talk to ghosts. And then she does. And then they meet the 3rd friend. And the 3rd friend is played by Daniel Day Kim. And he basically tells a story about one time he was hunted by this big beast. And at the end of the movie, you find out that he is the beast. It's like a big leopard thing. And the transformation sequence looks fucking terrible because it's the whole thing CGI and it's super dumb. But basically then they go to... meanwhile, in the background, the lady's being built by one of her minions or whatever. Can't forget Baba Yaga. Hellboy is summoned by Baba Yaga, who's just in like a walking house. And she's a big, gross, old, weird, gross tit lady. And she's bad to look at and to look at. And she's eating kids. And Hellboy's like, don't eat kids, Baba Yaga. That's the whole scene. Not quite sure why he went to her. Then they go to fight Mila Jovovich from the Resident Evil movies. And she tries to kill Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And then they're like, oh no, Alice from Alice in Wonderland is dying. We have to go dig up Merlin. And then they do. And I forget how, but they bring Merlin back to life. And Merlin's like, oh yeah, she's fixed. By the way, Hellboy, you're the descendant of King Arthur. And I looked it up. Yes, that is also from the comic books. And he was like, Excalibur is yours by birthright. Boom, there's Excalibur. Take it. And Hellboy's like, I won't, because if I take Excalibur, I'll go evil. And he was like, you fool. Now Excalibur's gone and no one knows where it is. They go to fight Mila Jovovich. She kills the dad. The dad death is way more impactful in the original films. And
the dad death in the original one was super sad.
Yeah. This one is less impactful, even further so, because he just talks to his dead dad ghost with his friend Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Then she summons like 8 large, huge demons, and they each have like one scene, and they were all super gory for no reason. At one point, this one demon who had one giant blade for an arm, he took a human by the neck, flicked him like you would a rag or something. All his skin came off. He threw it in the air, sliced it in half, and caught half of it in its mouth. Why didn't he just eat it? Why all the gore? It was silly. None of them did anything. They just fucking stood there. And then they're fighting in like this church, and he crumbles through the floor. What's underneath the church? Excalibur. And Mila Jovovich from Resident Evil knew the whole time that Excalibur was there, and he picks up Excalibur, and he's like, I'm going to kill you, and then he does. And then there's 4 after the credit scenes. One teases Abe Sapien, the fish dude from the original movies. Little too late. Definitely not going to be a sequel. Definitely don't want a sequel. One of the after the credit scenes was Baba Yaga talking to somebody off camera, and if you've read the comics, you know who she's talking to, I guess. 3 out of 10 for Hellboy.
Wow.
from ya boy.
A lot of Disney copyright products.
Oh my god, yeah, tell me about it.
Did Disney make this movie?
No, this was the most rated R movie I've ever seen.
How'd they get Alice in Wonderland and Merlin?
They must be in the public domain.
I guess so. No, I guess that has to be it. They're both in Kingdom Hearts 1.
They are both in Kingdom Hearts 1, yes. You don't have to play that far to know that.
Yeah, where's Hellboy?
Oh, man.
Where's he in Kingdom Hearts 1?
Chris, it was so bad.
Also, did he not turn evil? He promised he was going to turn evil if he took Excalibur.
It happened just like it did in the first movie. He turned evil for like a moment, and then he was like, no, I'm better than that.
Did his horns get bigger?
Yeah.
Like in the first one?
Yeah, and Excalibur was on fire. Coolest part of the movie. It was in the trailer, though, so fuck me, I guess. I'm glad I didn't pay to see this movie. I only watched it because it was on HBO Go, and I siphoned HBO Go off of my friend Chris.
That's me.
That's it. That's you.
I do not watch HBO Go. I just watch HBO. But I should probably watch HBO Go.
It's the same thing.
It is, right?
Yeah.
You're not getting anything I'm not getting?
No.
Yeah.
All the movies and TV shows that are on HBO are on HBO Go. You could just watch them whenever you want.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of movies up there that are up there, and they're not on Disney Plus because of that, like all the Mighty Duck movies.
Right.
And all the Land Before Time movies, which I guess Disney owns also. I don't remember that, but okay. Disney has the rights to Hulk again.
Did they not?
No. They had partial rights. That's why Hulk couldn't star in his own movie.
Oh.
That's why he was like, they told his story throughout other people's movies.
Yeah.
But they have it again. They also have Namor, the Sea Mariner, but I don't think they're going to do anything with that. They don't need to.
Who had the Hulk?
Universal.
Oh.
Yeah, Universal had the Hulk, I believe. But like, it was I think it was another Spider-Man thing, just on a lesser scale, because Universal was like, fuck it, so much so that they have the Hulk back now. But
yeah, well, I mean, I feel like Universal did what Sony should have done, which was just let them have it, sit back and collect the money. Even if they're making a giant amount of it and you're only making 1%, that's 1% of you doing nothing.
Right.
Just take it.
Yeah,
and
but
to a further extent, it sounds like Universal was like, just buy him. Just here he is. You can have him.
Yeah. No, especially when you're dealing with Disney, who seems to be the villain in most cases in these scenarios.
Yeah.
But if Disney is like, we'll just buy it for this much money, I feel like me as Universal or Sony, I'd be like, yeah, sure. You guys are gonna shit us out of a better deal anyway, so you could just give me the cash.
That's the thing. Like, what does Sony think? They're not gonna win. Like I can foresee. Like, if we were 6 years down the line and you and I are sitting here doing this podcast and we're like, well, the MCU battle between Sony and Marvel, Sony started their own MCU, and here, that's not going to happen.
Right, yeah.
You have Spider-Man. Yeah, you have one of the big ones. We get it. Just make him an offer, and let's be done with it. So here's the thing. Spider-Man is only fun for so long if it's just Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire proved that. You're gonna get 3 movies in, then you're gonna say, "Oh, we probably should have sold this to somebody," and then it's gonna be too late.
Yeah.
You look like you're looking something up.
What could it possibly be that I'm looking up?
Are you gonna start the song?
No, I'm not gonna start the song because I'm in a terrible mood. But I am gonna do a Roger Ebert's Critic Corner. Here's the thing: I was going to do Aladdin, the original Aladdin, but then
Yeah.
I was like, no. I'm going to do Hellboy. Interesting factoid. Aladdin got 3 stars out of 4. Hellboy got 3.5
Wow.
out of 4. Not the one I watched because Roger Ebert's dead. Hellboy from 2004. Hellboy came out in 2004. Can you believe that?
Wow.
That seems like so long ago.
Yeah. It does.
Anyways, Hellboy, as I just mentioned, gets 3.5 out of 4 stars from Roger Ebert. Roger Ebert, for those of you who don't know, is a movie critic who has since, passed away, left this earth, and he left quite a legacy of movie reviews. Some good, some bad, all crazy. And I, as per usual, ritual, I didn't do any pre-pro, so we're going in blind. Hellboy is one of those rare movies that's not only based on a comic book, but also feels like a comic book. It's vibrating with energy, and you can sense the zeal and joy in its making. Of course, it's constructed of nonstop special effects, bizarre makeup, and a preposterous storyline, but it carries that baggage lightly. Unlike some CGI movies,
Oh, here he goes comparing.
that lumber from one set piece to another, this one skips lightheartedly through the action.
Oh, he didn't actually compare to another
To a specific movie. Yeah. Is he about to? Maybe. And in what the fuck? This guy, I think this guy was born in the 1700s sometimes, the way he fucking talks. And in Ron Perlman, it has found an actor who is not just playing a superhero, but enjoying it. Although he, no doubt, had to endure hours in makeup every day, he chomps his cigar, twitches his tail, and battles his demons with something approaching glee. That was one sentence.
He also looks like a monkey. He didn't mention how he looks like a monkey.
Does he look like a monkey?
In real life? Yeah, have you never seen?
Oh, Ron Perlman?
Yeah.
Oh. I haven't, but that's hilarious. You can see an actor in the process of making an impossible character really work. So he still shits on Hellboy, even though he's like, it was great. Now he's
also
talking
the
about
preposterous plot line. It's a superhero movie.
Now he wastes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs talking about the plot, but I will bring up this part where he... Oh, man, I'm so pissed, Chris. I wish I read this beforehand. He compares... Oh, I'm seeing a picture of Ron Perlman now. Oh, he does sort of look like an ape.
Yeah.
I see that. Okay. I see
Yeah.
that now. With the... Yeah, I got it.
Like a gorilla.
Talk about comparisons. Here comes one. Do you remember Abe Sapien from Hellboy? The cool fish monster?
Yeah.
Abe, the fish boy, who wears
Awesome.
a breathing apparatus out of water, is more of a dreamer than a fighter with a personality that makes him a distant relative. Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess who he's going to compare it to?
The Ninja Turtles.
With a well, he loves doing that. With a personality that makes him a distant relative of Jar Jar Binks.
Wow.
What an insult.
He wasn't the comic relief,
No,
though.
he wasn't. He was like probably the coolest part of the movie, if I remember correctly.
He was kind of the intelligent character of the movie. Why did he say that? Why did he say that?
At Abe the fish boy who wears a breathing...
I'm with you.
More of
If
a
you
dreamer
want to,
more of a dreamer than a fighter with a personality that makes him a distant relative of... That's just untrue.
his personality has nothing to do with Jar Jar Binks.
Or being like a comic relief, like you said.
Well, I'll give you that. When we're after 2000, if you're watching a movie and there's a character whose sole purpose is to break up serious moments,
Right.
aka comic relief, and you say there's the Jar Jar Binks, I'm with you.
Mm,
He's the clown in the movie, and he
Right.
serves no purpose. That's not this character,
That's not
though.
Abe Sapien, no. Hellboy's life is now he's on his shit. He's just fucking going off, talking about whatever he feels like. He's done reviewing the movie. He's done synopsizing the movie. Now he's just gonna vamp. Hellboy's life is a lonely one. When you are 7 feet tall and bright red with a tail, you don't exactly fit in, even though HB...
Hellboy.
Oh, Hellboy. It's one word. Even though HB tries to make himself look more normal by sawing his horns down to stumps, which he sends every morning. He is in love with another paranormal, Liz Sherman, played by Selma Blair, a pyrokineticist, probably a real word, who feels guilty because she starts fires when she gets excited. There's a terrific scene where they're kissing and she's fireproof. Yeah, I got it. The FBI, which is occasionally accused of not sharing its information with other agencies, keeps Hellboy as its own deep secret. The droll actor Jeffrey Tambor. What does droll mean? D-R-O-L-L.
It's not a compliment, I can tell you that.
That droll actor Jeffrey Tambor plays the FBI chief, a bureaucrat who is just not cut out for battling the hounds of hell. He has some funny setup scenes and indeed, the movie is best when it's establishing all of these characters
doing a
before
plot
it
synopsis
descends to its apocalyptic battles. I skipped the plot synopsis, I promise. I skipped 7 paragraphs of plot synopsis.
He's just describing the movie. Tell us what you thought or stop writing.
Hellboy battles the monsters in subway tunnels and subterranean caverns as Liz... Oh my god, this is still plot, isn't it? I know, of course, that one must accept the action in the movie like this on faith, but there was one transition I was utterly unable to follow. Liz has saved them all from the monsters by filling a cave with fire, which shrivels them and their eggs into crispy s'mores. And then, well, he cuts himself off. And then, well, the movie cuts directly to another cave in which they are held captive by evil Nazis, and Hellboy is immobilized in gigantic custom-made stocks that has an extra-large hole for his oversized left hand. How did that happen?
That's his complaint. That's where this movie gets him.
Next paragraph. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Despite his
Good.
sheltered upbringing, Hellboy has somehow obtained the tough-talking personality of a Brooklyn stevedore? One word, Stevedore. The rough, tough-talking personality of a Brooklyn stevedore. But he has a tender side, not only for Liz, but for cats. Once again, plot. He has one scene with the FBI director that reminds me of a moment when Frankenstein enjoys a cigar with the blind man. He always lights the stogies with a lighter, and Tambor explains that cigars...
that was a reference to Young Frankenstein, I'm pretty sure, and he did not acknowledge that. That wasn't from the actual Frankenstein.
Oh, was it not?
I'm pretty sure that's just from Young Frankenstein. I could be wrong, but...
I know there's a blind man in Frankenstein, but I don't think cigars. Anyways, he always lights his stogies with a lighter, and Tambor explains that cigars must always be ignited like with a wooden match. That's good to know when Liz isn't around. The end of the review. 3.5 out of 4 stars.
What a weirdo.
None of that. We finally found one where none of that was, this is what I liked or didn't like. That was all explaining the plot that he described as, I think he described it as like mind-numbing, preposterous, bizarre makeup and a preposterous storyline, but it carries that baggage likely.
It's not baggage, it's the medium they chose.
No,
it's the style of movie. Stop watching movies you don't care about. That's what it all boils down to.
But Chris, I hear you. He loved this one.
No, he didn't.
He gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars.
Then his review should have reflected that. That's not baggage if that's the style of movie you want to go see. You idiot. Don't call it baggage. That's insulting. The backstory of these comic book characters that were made when you were still in diapers. No.
Not Hellboy.
No. I take that back. I mean, he was in the crib with Jesus. I get that. But yeah. But it's just don't it's not baggage.
No.
If that's the type of movie you went to go see. That's not a hurdle to get around, like putting Palpatine in the last Star Wars movie. That's baggage. That's baggage they didn't have to add on to that movie. Hellboy's background is not baggage to the character. That's the movie you went to go see. Idiot.
Man, I'm just skimming the stuff I skipped. A lot of this is plot, like I said. He did, however, go out of his way to refer to Abe Sapien as a fish boy a second time.
Cool. That's a good idea. Just mock the movie you went to go see.
Cut to a secret FBI headquarters where Hellboy lives with the professor and an aquatic creature named Abe Sapien, played by Doug Jones, a fish boy who got his name because he was born the day Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. The professor is showing the ropes to the young FBI agent Clay, played by Corey Johnson, when the Nazis attack a museum. This is all plot. The teeth, tentacle, reptile, ooze of tentacles and teeth, reproduced at Earth unless Hellboy comes to the rescue. This is all plot. He had a really rough time digesting this plot, so much so that he had to write it all down. And I know that that's basically what I just did with the new Hellboy movie, like to you. But like,
well, you weren't giving a review. You were telling us how the movie was.
Right.
But I also haven't seen it yet.
I'm saying like, me and Roger Ebert both pretty much synopsized the whole movie, but like at least I was critiquing it as I was going.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's just like, I got to get all this plot down. And then I've wasted 8 or 9 paragraphs. Can't tell him how I liked it. It was preposterous. 3 out of 4. 3.5 out of 4.
If only
preposterous.
It would have got a solid 4 if it had less baggage with this dumb storyline.
Yeah. Well, that was Roger Ebert's Critic Corner. I don't even think I said that before. I just started talking about my boy. Maybe we'll do Aladdin someday. He seemed to like that one, but not as much as Hellboy.
Obviously.
Anything else you wanted to bring up before we stop?
I'm disgusted.
By Roger Ebert?
Yeah.
Well, he's a corpse, so he's pretty gross. I can see why you are disgusted by him.
We do.
What do you think he talks like? Like, what do you think his voice sounds like?
I've gone out of my way. I actually saw an interview with him. I don't want to see what he looks like. I don't want to hear his voice.
You don't want anything
I like to have
of our bit askewed?
Yeah, I like to have my
that.
own interpretation of this man. And it's not a good one. I feel like if I saw him in real life, I could humanize him, and I don't want to humanize him.
That's fair. That's fair. That's completely fair. All right. That was Cinematic Relief. Join us next time for whatevs.
Yeah, God knows what.
If you liked our last episode, which was sort of a weird like new branch of Cinematic Relief that I took upon myself to title Scorching Hot Takes. If you like that format, let us know, because we could definitely do that again about a different movie or two, or But with that being said, I'm Thunder.
And I'm Lightning.
And we'll see you next time.